every single Jew throughout the world has felt since Simchas Torah, since October 7th, that essentially we've been living between Rain and Mitzrayim. It's just a matter of time till we'll get to Tisha B'Av, and then we'll finally be there, officially. But the truth is that we've been living not just in the 3 weeks and the 9 days in Shur Shachar, but we've been living this literally since Simchas Torah. It hasn't ended. The same tsar, the same anxiety, the same unknown, the same hatred. Nothing's changed since Simchas Torah. So what are we supposed to do on a day of Tisha B'Av when we've been living Tisha B'Av for 10 months? We've been living Bein Mitzrayim for 10 months. Why do we need to go through the formula? So I'd like to suggest a number of approaches. And I think it surrounds a Mamre Chazal. Ultimately, it says, "Kol mis'abel Yushalayim zocha v'ro b'simchasa." If you're able to mourn Yushalayim, you will be able to see simcha. And if you're not able to mourn, she'ein mis'abel Yushalayim ein ro b'simchasa. And the question I'd also like to pose is, how many of us have ever mourned on Tisha B'Av in the past? If we're being really honest with ourselves, we've recited some Kinot. We've sat maybe in the same situations we've been in. But how many of us have actually mourned for the Churban Abayis? So I'm not sure if I really have. I'll be the first to admit, I'm not sure if I really have. This morning I noticed the line in Tachrin. In Tachrin we say, "Ki nafshenu kitzara mecherev mishevi midever mimagif mikora." And that line struck with me. I've said this before, that somehow Tachrin speaks to us more this past year. The feelings of anguish, of helplessness. Nafshenu kitzara mecherev mishevi midever magif mikol ra. That line describes like the last 4 years. Our souls are short, can barely breathe from the war, from the captivity, from the plagues, and all the bad things we faced. And I was thinking about the fact that I used to never connect to Tachrin. And I said it, didn't understand what I was saying. But you read Tachrin, and it's very beautiful. You're describing this just helplessness. What this line is saying. And I think the same thing is true about the Kinos that we're going to recite. We're going to start to recite today. The Kinos, everyone says, was like a locked book. Rav Soloveitchik was able to open up the book for us with his penetrating insights. I'm going to give you a heads up. I've spent the last couple of days looking at the Kinos. I have a feeling that the Kinos are going to hit differently. They're going to hit differently. Because the Kinos are going to express feelings and experiences that you may actually relate to. A line may jump out at you and say, wow, I have felt that this year. I have asked God, where are you? I have wondered, when is this going to end? We're going to recite Eicha in a few minutes. And Eicha starts out, the first 2 prakim are in the third person. We're talking about the city. Uriel is reflecting about the Churban Abayis. And then you'll notice, everyone's familiar, the third parak is going to shift to a different tune. The third parak, Uriel says, Ani hagever. Ra ani b'shevet evrato. Why do we make this shift? Some shul's have a different niggin for this parak. So perhaps Yirmiyahu himself, when he wrote Megillat Eicha, maybe he himself felt like the text is distant from him. He's writing about this city, about this Churban, but he's still so far. Then Parak Gimel, he takes off the mask and says, Ani HaGever. I'm that person. Ra'ani b'shevet Evrato. I've seen the rod of affliction. Otinahak bayola choshech v'lo. I'm the one who now is being led in darkness and can't see. So I hope for many of you, you'll be able to find parts of the Kinos, parts of Megillat Eicha that are Ani HaGever, that speak to you as a real human being, expressing real longing and feelings of exasperation and maybe misery. And maybe that's one aspect of why we need Tisha B'Av, because Tisha B'Av might validate a lot of what you felt throughout the past. You may not have been honest or admitted that you had questions against God, but you'll see Yirmiyahu asked those questions. It's every Kinnot, it's every page, asking those questions. So on the one hand, I think we need to validate ourselves, and hopefully you'll connect to the link. But I want to develop another approach. At the end of Megillat Eicha, we're all familiar with the ending that we recite. We just sang it. The words Hashivenu Hashem Eicha v'nashuva chadei shemeinu k'kedem. We talk about Shuva. We talk about HaKadosh Baruch Hu returning to us returning to Him. Bring back the days of old. And one would assume that this hopeful, optimistic pasuk is probably the end of the Megillah. But if you look carefully, you'll note that it's actually the penultimate pasuk. It's the second to last pasuk. So why do we recite it again? Why do we conclude the Megillah with Hashivenu Hashem Eicha v'nashuva chadei shemeinu k'kedem? So Rashi tells us in Eicha the reason is because we have a tradition that we aren't supposed to end a haftorah, a laning, on a downer. So we always try to have some hopeful, optimistic one. I was thinking about this, that maybe in life, the idea of ending a pasuk, which is how Yirmiyahu ends his book, which is Ki'im ma'os ma'astanu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you must be repulsed by us. Katzafta aleinu ad ma'od. You are clearly incredibly angry with us. Maybe all too often, all the Tisha B'Avs we've experienced until now, maybe it just, we don't want to sit in that moment. So we just quickly go back to Hashivenu, Hashem Eicha v'nashuva, chadei shemeinu k'kedem. We want to immediately not sit in that negativity and just go right to the positive stuff. But I think that's probably why this year has been so hard, because it hasn't yet come. We've been promised day after day, year after year, as young children, that Mashiach's going to come. It's going to be Chadei Shemeinu k'kedem. And so we're so used to rushing to the finish line, to the good, the silver lining, that maybe we've never actually mourned. Maybe we've never actually sat to pause and sit in the mud, in the rut. But Yirmiyahu ends his magnum opus, his Sefer Eicha, with a question. Kima os ma'astanu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you must have rejected us. Katzafta aleinu ad ma'od. You must be so upset at us. And that was okay for Yirmiyahu to end his Sefer with that anger, resentment, question. But we're not always so comfortable. We're just moving on to let's sing a niggin. Let's hold on to that hope, which we should. a couple weeks ago, my siblings were in from Israel. And I asked my siblings, what's it been like for your kids, different ages, living in Israel, let's say 8 or 9 to 17. Are you trying to hide from them what's going on? And they said that specifically when it comes to funerals, they said my sister-in-law said they have gone to more shivas and more funerals this year alone, than their entire lifetime. They said in school, every single time a chayal is killed from any of the area schools, they live in Talman, but Talman, Renana, anytime anyone nearby, whether he's a boger, an alumni of that specific school, or just from the area, all the schools shut. All the schools shut. So the kids know what it means. An Israeli kid knows what it means to mourn. The society shuts down, says, no school today. We've had a loss. It's a hard time. And I think about us, and I think about what have we done? What are we doing? So we have lots of enemies pointing who knows what at our people. Maybe our job right now is just to be mis'avel. As the Rav explains that Tisha B'Av is a Yom Avilut. This whole crescendo, Bein HaMetzarim, was one big build-up to get to Shiva, to get to Avelis. So maybe our tafkid is just to be in an oven, to sit, to cry, to connect, to open our hearts, not to rush. We've learned to cope. We can't do this every day. It's not healthy. One day a year. One day a year. One day a year, we can sit. And the hope is that it's a tefillah. When Chazal say, "Kol mis'abel yishlayim v'zocha v'ro b'simchasa," if you're mis'abel, zocha v'ro b'simchasa. I haven't seen the building of Beis HaMikdash. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I haven't mourned yet. If I'm able to mourn, so maybe somehow on some level, our mourning here is going to help our brothers and sisters. If we mourn, maybe Chazal are telling us this is the antidote. If you really feel, you really care, you really tap into the day. It should be a tefillah that Kadosh Baruch should protect everyone in Eretz Yisrael. And maybe that is the justification of this minhag to repeat Hashivenu, that if we're able to sit in the Kimos Mastanu Katzaflana Ad Ma'od, then maybe we can prompt ourselves, push ourselves. Hashivenu Hashem Elach B'Nashuva Kadesh Shemir. Kadosh Baruch Hu should look after brothers and sisters. Kadosh Baruch Hu should give us the strength to connect. We should encourage ourselves to open our eyes and ears to the tefillot. Just do something a little bit different this year, just because it's not a typical year. We're going to do 2 different things. One is that Rabbi Katz and I are going to give one introduction to some of the Kinnot tonight, which we've never done, just to add something different. And part of the thinking is that it's a work day tomorrow. Maybe some people can't be here tomorrow. So there, at least tonight, you can sit and hear one introduction to a Kinnot. And 2, we're going to say this Kinnot that Rav Rimon wrote. At the end of the Kinnot, we'll say the 5 Kinnot, and then we'll add Rav Rimon's Kinnot. And even though thematically it makes more sense to do it tomorrow after Kinnot, Miyitin Roshimayim or Crusades, even though probably thematically makes more sense, we know that realistically a lot of Chavra is not around by then. And so if we would only read it at 12 o'clock tomorrow, a lot of people would miss it. So in order to have a full crowd here, in order that we can say it together and connect something real, something maybe you'll be able to connect to, we'll say it tonight. Maybe we'll say something else tomorrow about the Beit HaMitzvah we've been through. We should be zocha to mourn. We should be zocha to daven. We should be zocha to open our hearts, and ultimately that will lead, hopefully, to Hashivir Hashem Elech Min Hashuva Hadei Shemin.
Eicha Yasheva Vada Ha'ir Rabati Am Hayeta Ki Almana Rabati Vagoli Sarati Van Medinot Hayeta Lamas Bacha Tivka Balai V'dim'ata Ala Lechaya Ein Lah Menachem Mikol Hadeha Kol Re'eha Bageduva Hayula Le'oyevim Gaberta Yehuda Me'oni U'me'rof Avodah Ki Yasheva Vagoim Lo Matzea Manoach Kol Rodefea Hisigoha Bein HaMitzarim Darchei Tzion Avelot Mibdeli Ba'ei Moed Kol She'areha Shomemin Kohaneha Nenachim Betuloteha Nugot V'himar La Hayutzareha L'rosh Oyeveha Shalu Ki Adonai Hoga Al Rov Tisha'eha Olaleha Halechu Shevi Lifnei Tzar Vayetze Mibat Tzion Kol Hadara Hayutzareha Ki Ayalim Lo Matzeu Mireh Vayelchu B'Rochawa Lifnei Rodei Zachera Yerushalayim Yemei Anya Umrudeha Kol Machamudeha Asher Hayu Yimei Kedem Binfo Amah Bi'adatar V'ein Ozer La Ra'u Hatzarim Sachaku Al Mishbateha Chait Chate'a Yerushalayim Al Kain V'nida Hayata Kol Mechabedeha Hiziluha Ki Ra'u Irvata Gam Hi Ne'encha V'tashov Achor Tum'ata B'shuveha Lo Zachera Acharita V'tered Pilaim Ein Menachem La Re'ei Adonai et Oni Ki Higdil Oyev Biyado Paras Tzar Al Kol Machamaddeha Ki Ra'ata Goyim Ba'u Mikdasha Asher Tzivita Lo Yava'u V'Kahal Lach Kol Amma Ne'enachim Mevakshim Lechem Natenu Machamaddehem Ve'ochel V'hashiv Nafesh Re'ei Adonai V'habita Ki Hayiti Zorelam Lo Aleichem Kol Alvarei Derech Habitu Uru Im Yesh Machov K'machovi Asher Ola Li Asher Hoga Adonai B'yom Acharon Apo Mimmarom Shalach Eish V'atzmotai V'yirden Paras Reshet L'raglai Heshivani Achor Nitanami Shomima Kol Hayom Davar נסקד עול פשעי בידו יסתרגו עלו על צווארי הכשיל כוחי נתנני אדוני בידי לא אוכל לקום סלחו אבירי אדוני בקרבי קרא עלי מועד לשבור בחורי גת דרך אדוני לבתולת בת יהודה על אלה אני בוכייה עיני יורד המים כי רחק ממני מנחם משיב נפשי היו בני שוממים כי גבר אויב פרסת ציון בידיה אין מנחם לו צבא אדוני ליעקב סביביו צרב הייתה ירושלים ונגדה ביניהם צדיק הוא אדוני כי פיהו מריתי שמעו נא כל העמים וראו מכאובי בתולותיי ובחוריי הלכו בשבי קראתי למאהבי הם מרימוני כהני וזקני בעיר גברו כי ביקשו אוכל למו וישיבו את נפשם ראה אדוני כי צר לי מעי חומר מרו נהפך ליבי בקרבי כי מרו מריתי מחוץ שיקל החרב בבית כמוות שמעו כי נאנחני אין מנחם לי כל אויבי שמעו רעתי ששו כי אתה עשית הבאת יום קראת ויחיו חמומים תבוא כל רעתם לפניך ועולל למו כאשר עוללת לי על כל פשעי כי רבות הנחותיי בליבי דווי.
Eicha יאיב באפו אדוני אספס ציון השליך בשמיים ארץ תפארס ישראל לא זכר אדון רגלו ביום אפו בילה אדוני ולא חמל עז קונות יעקב הרס בברסו מצרי בת יהודה הגיע לארץ חילל ממלכות ושריה גדל בחרייו כל קרן ישראל השיב אחור ימינו מפני אויב ויבער ביעקב כאיש להבה אכילה סביב טרח קשתו כאויב ניצב ימינו קצר ויהרוג כל מחמדי עין באוהל בציון שופך האש כמסו היה אדוני כאויב בילה ישראל בילה כל ארמנוסיה שיחס מבצריו וירד בבס יהודה תניה ועניה ויחמוס כגן סוכו שיחס מועדו שיקח אדוני בציון מועד ושבת וינעץ בזם אפו מלך וכהן זנח אדוני מזבחו ניער מקדשו הסגיר ביד אויב חומוס ארמנוסה כל נסנו בבית אדוני כי יום מועד חשב אדוני להשחיז חומס בציון נטע קו לא השיב ידו מבעליה ויעבל חיל וחומה יכתוב אומללו Tavu v'aretz shara, ibad v'shibar b'richa, malkoch v'sorel v'agoyim ein Torah, kan nevi'eh lon matzu chazon me'Adonai. Yeshvu la'aretz yidmu ziknei v'asiyon, elu afar al rosham, chageru sakim. Horidu la'aretz rosham, b'sulos Yerushalayim. Kalu v'adma'os einai, chumarmeru me'ai. Nishbach la'aretz kavedi, al shever pas ami. V'yatef olel v'yanek, v'rchovos kirya. V'imosam yomeru, aye dagan v'yayim. V'satvam kecholol v'rchovosim, v'hishtapech nafsham, el chek imosam. Ma idech, ma adam elah, habas Yerushalayim, ma ashvelach v'anachamech, v'tzulas v'asiyon, ki gadol chayam shivrech mir pala. Nevi'ayich, chazulach shav v'safel, v'lo gilu al avonech l'hashiv shvusei. Vayechazu lach masos shav u'maduchim. Sofegu alayich kapayim kol overei derech. Sharaku vayaniu rosham al bas Yerushalayim. Hazos ha'im sheyomeru kelilas yofi masos l'chol ha'aretz. Hatzu alayich bihem kol ha'yevayim. Shariku vayacharku shein amru yivanu. Ach zeh hayom shekivinu matanu ra'inu. Asa Adonai asher zamah Pizza emraso asher tiva mimei kedem haras v'lo chama v'yisamach alayich oyev heirim keren tzarayim tza'ak libam el Adonai chomas basiya horidi chanach dim'ah yomam v'layla. Al titani fugas la, al tido pasene. Kumi roni valayla, lirosh ashmuros, shivchi chamayim libe, nochach b'nei Adonai. See, I love kapayim, al nefesh olamayim, hatufim v'rav, v'rosh kol kutzos. Re'ei Adonai v'havita, lemi olal tako. Im tocham hanoshim piryah, olalei tipuchim, im yerei, mikdash Adonai kohen v'navi. Shichvu la'aretz chutzos, nar v'zakein, sulosayu v'achurai, nafelu v'echareh. הרגת ביום אביך, טבעת לוחמות. תקרא כי יום מועד מגורי מסביב, ולא היה ולק ביום אב אדוני פליט בשרי. אשר טיפחתי וריביתי, אויבי חילה.
אני הגבר העוני בשבט עברסו, עושי נהג ויולך חושך ולאור, אב בישוב יהפוך ידו כל היום. Beloved, sorry the ori shibarat mosai, bono alai vayakaf roshu sela. V'machashakim hoshivani kimeisei olam. Godar ba'adim v'lo eitzei hirbire nechoshni. Gam ki es achla shaveya so sam tefilasi. Godar dirachai begozis nisivosai eva. Dolore huli ari b'mistorim, derachai sorer vayifashecheni somani shomeim, torach kashto vayatziveni kama Torah lacheis. Hevi b'chiliosai b'nei hashpaso, Hayisi sechok lechol ani neginosam kol hayom. Hisbiani v'amirorim hervani la'ano. Vayagres bechatzot shinoi hechbishani abo efer. Vatiznach mishalom nafshi no shisi tova. V'omar avad nitzchi. V'sochalti me'Adonai. Zechor onyi u'merudi la'anav arosh. Zechor tizkor v'soshoach alai nafshi. V'zosashiv el libi al kein ochil. Chastei Adonai kilo samnu. Kilo cholurachamav. Chadoshim labikorim rabbaim munasecha. Chelki Adonai yomiro nafshi al kein ochil lo. Tov Adonai lekovav lenefesh tidrishenu. Tov v'yochil v'dumam l'seshuas Adonai. Tov lagever yisa'ov v'ne'urav. Yeshev bodod v'yidom Kinot alav. Yitain be'afar pihu ulaya yesh tikva. Yitain lemakehu lechi yizbah v'terpo. Kilo yiznach li'olam Adonai. Ki im hogav v'richam kirol chasadav. Kilo inam libo v'yagev v'nei. Lidak Pesach raglav kol asirei haaretz. Lehatos mishpat gaver neged b'nei Elyon. Le'aveis adam b'rivo Adonai lo ra'ah. Mize omar vatehi Adonai lo tziva. Mipi Elyon lo seitzei hara'os v'hatov. Mayis onein adam chai gever al chatav. nach besoder achinu v'nach kora v'noshuva ad Adonai. Nichsal levavenu el kapayim el b'shamayim. Nachnu poshanu marinu ata lo salachta. Sakos lavav batir defeino harangta lo chamalta. Sakos ve'anan lach me'avor tefila. Sichi u'ma'os tesimeinu bekerev ha'amim. Hatsu aleinu pihem kol oyeveinu. Pachad v'pachas hayolanu. Hasheis ve'ashaver. Ogimayim teirad aini. Al shever basami. Aini nidgira velo sidme mein hafugos. Ad yashkif v'yeire Adonai mishamayim. Aini olila l'nafshi Nikol v'nos ha'yiri. Toda tzaduni katziporo yevaychinam. Somesu v'abor chayai v'yadu heaven be. Safu mayim al roshi. Amarti ninzarti. Karvasi shimcha Adonai mibor tachtios. Koli shamata al talei moznecha l'rav chasi l'shavasi. Karavta b'yom ekro'eka amarta al tira. Ravta Adonai rivei nafshi go'alta chayai. Ro'isa Adonai avasasi shokta mishpati. Ro'isa kinet kol nikmosam kol machshevosam li. Shomata cherpasam Adonai kol machshevosam alai. Sivsei kamai v'hegyonam alai kol hayom. Shivtam v'kimosam havita. Ani manginosam. Toshiv lohem gemul Adonai kim'aseh yedehem. Titein lohem v'ginas lev. Talosecha lohem. Tirdov be'af v'sashmidem. Mitachas shemei Adonai.
Eicha yuam zav yishlech ha'chesem ha'tov Tisha B'Av avnei kodesh berosh kofutos B'nei Tzion ha'ikarim ha'misulaim b'paz Eicha nefshevu l'nivlei cheres ma'aseh yedei yotzer Gam tanim kal tushad Eni kufurehan Basamilak zor Hayainim Bamidbar Shavak Lishon Yonev Elfiko Basama Ulalim Shalu Lechem Ores in Lahem Hauchelim Lot Ma'adanim Nashamu Bakutzos Ha'umunim Ale Sola Yibiku Ashpatos Vaigdal Avon Basamim Mechata Sedom Haufachim Oraga Velochaluvach Yadayim Zaku Nizireha Mishaleg Zaku Mechalav Adimu Etzem Mipeninim Sapir Kishrasam Chashak Mishachor Toram Lo Nikeru Bachutzos Safad Oram Al Atzmam Yavesh Hayachayitz Tovim Hayu Chale Cherev Mechale Ra'av Shem Yazuvu Midukarim Mitinuvos Sadai Yedei Nashim Rachmanios Bishalu Yaldehan Hayu Levaros Lamo Bishaver Basami Hila Adonai Eskamaso Shafa Charon Apo Vaitzak Ish Bitzion Vatochal Yisodosah Lo Ha'aminu Malchai Eretz Kol Yoshevei Sevel Ki Yavo Tsar V'Oyev Bisharei Yerushalayim Mechatos Neviyaha Avonot Kahana Hashuchim B'Kirbach Dan Tzadikim Na'u Ivrim Bachutzos Nigoalu Badam but below Yuchilu Yigu B'Lushehem Suru Tamei Kiru Lamo Suru Altigau Kinatu Gamnao Amiru Bagoyim Lo Yosifu Lagur Hine Adonai Chilekam Lo Yosif Lahabitam Hine Chohanim Lo Nasau Uzkinim Lo Hananu Odenu Tiklena Einenu El Ezra Seinu Havel Vitzipi Asinu Tzipinu El Goy Lo Yoshia Sadu Tiadinu Milaches Birachovo Seinu Karav Kitseinu Malau Yameinu Kiva Kitseinu Kalim Hayu Rodifenu Minishrei Shamayim Al Harim Dilakumu Bamidbar Arvulanu Ruach Apenu Mashiach Adonai Nilkad Dashiki Sosam Asher Amarnu Bitzilo Nichyat Bagoyim Sisi Visimchi Bas Edom Yoshev Esfet Utz Kam Alayich Tavor Kos Tishkiri Visis Ari Tam Avonech Bas Sion Lo Yosif Lahagosech Hakad Avonech Bas Edom Gila Achakosane
Zichor Adonai Mehayalanu Habita Urei Et Karpatenu Nachalatenu Nechal Zarim Batenu Lenachrim Yitomim Hayinu Ve'en Av Imotenu Ke'almanot Meimenu B'chesef Shatinu Eitzeinu Bimchir Yavo Al Tzavarenu Nirdafnu Yaganu V'lo Hunachlanu Mitzrayim Natanu Yad Ashur Lispawa Lachem Avoseinu Chatu Ve'enam Va'anachnu Avonotehem Tzavalnu Avadim Mashluvanu Horek Ein Miyadam B'nafshenu Navi Lachmenu Mipnei Cheref Hamidbar Oreinu Kitanur Nichmaru Mipnei Zalafot Rav Nashim B'tzion Inu B'tulot B'arei Yehuda Sarim B'yadam Nitlu B'nei Zikenim Lo Nehdaru Bachurim Tichon Nasa'u Une'arim Be'etz Kashal Zekenim mishar shavatu bachurim min ginatam shavat mesos libeinu nefach le'evel mecholeinu nafla ateret roshenu oina lanu ki chatanu al zeh haya davet libeinu al ele chashchu eineinu al har Tzion sheshameim shualim hilchu vo Ato Adonai liolam teshev Kisacha lidor vador Lama lanetzach tishkachenu Tahazvenu leorech yamim Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Keketem Ki Imemaos Me'astanu Katzafta Aleinu Ad Me'od
Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Kadesh Yameinu
Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
We'll recite the keynotes. The keynotes are introductions to our keynote 4 and 5. So we'll recite the first 3.
Ata Adonai liolam tishev Kisacha lidor vador Lama lo netzach tishkachenu Tazveinu yorech yamim Hashivenu Adonai lecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem Ki ma'os me'astanu Katzaf oleinu ad me'od Hashivenu Adonai lecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Skip to 13 on page 57.
Bilel Zeruvo Chamesh Milros, Vazara Lavot Bivro Apiros, Vidavukuvot Saros Ravos Viros, Yamuchan Haya Vivko Apigos, Emidal Yev, Verim Kol Zivos, Kumze Kize Hayom Asher Amar Adonai, Bilel Zeyu Kayu Bilu Vanai, Bilel Zechara Beis Koshim Nitzufu Amunai, Kol Beis Yisrael Yevu Vigonai, Vivko Zasarefa, Asher Saraf Adonai.
The following Kinot is a discussion, a debate between two different kingdoms as depicted as unfaithful wives. Ahola and Ahaliva represented Shomron, and Ahaliva representing Machos Yisrael and Machos Yehuda, and they're essentially debating back and forth who's had it worse, who suffered worse. So I want to share a story that I think Rav Reuben Tradberg of the RCA who sent out this story, that on one of the RCA missions this year, so Rav Doron Peretz, the CEO of Mizrahi, was speaking to the mission. And at some point, Rav Peretz, we're familiar with the story, that his son Daniel was one of the Chatufim. His status was unknown for many months. Some of us, I know in our mission, we heard him when the status was still unknown, and we were davening for his being returned in health. And unfortunately, a little later, they found out that he had been killed in the battle ensuing on October 7th. And Rav Doron is an amazing human being, an amazing Jew. He's a gibor. He's someone that, if he's not your hero already, you should make him your hero. And Rav Tradberg said that after Rav Doron spoke in front of this RCA mission, so the next speaker that came in was Rav Shmuel Solotsky. Rav Shmuel Solotsky is a name that you might not be as familiar with. He's not the CEO of Mizrahi. This Shmuel Solotsky, he was the retired Rav of the Young Israel of Ramot. And on October 7th, when in all the commotion and the lack of Tzahal responding, he had two sons named Noam and Yishai, who they understood something bad is going on, and they ran from Beersheba, and they went to fight the terrorists with whatever weapons they had, and they went into battle, and there's CCTV images of the battle. They fought against numerous terrorists, and ultimately they were killed in Kibbutz Alumi. These two brothers killed together. And Har Herzl, you can see, Har Herzl, by the way, all the Kfarim, it's very powerful. There are so many Kfarim with so many dates. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, who died each day. It's very, very powerful. And you have these two brothers, Noam and Yishai, who are buried right next to each other. They're both killed in this battle. So Tradberg said that when Rav Solotsky came in to be the next speaker in front of this mission, so Rav Doron Peretz stopped his speech. He paused. And he ran over to Rav Solotsky, and he essentially gave him a hug. And he pronounced in front of the group that I feel inadequate. this point his son had already been declared Lo Aleinu. He said, I feel inadequate. I only lost one son. He lost two. Who am I when others have given me? It's lo human. It's not normal that people that exist, people we can look up to, we can learn from, who are arguing not like you'll see in the Kinot we're gonna talk about. Who had it worse? Machas Yehuda or Machas Yisrael? Machas Yisrael says Machas Yehuda, you're gonna last. We're not gonna last. The 10 lost tribes, we're done. We had it worse. They're like boasting. Who had it worse? A sense of pride. We have another model to tap into, to lean into, not to boast of who had it worse, but to look up to and give kavod for those who have suffered. I think throughout tonight, tomorrow, we're all going to try and figure out how to find that balance of tapping into both the Chorban Habayis and the Chorban that we experienced this year, and we should take strength from having heroes like Dome Parrots to learn from. Shamron Kol Titain, page 50.
Surabhagati Bekoshi Hakomela Dakamol Dalusa Uration Losa Doga Kalisa Matsovadio Durashit Lusam Yalla Atustor Abonam Besifusam Befanas Shidram Benachema Velusam Yata Sibram Yata Eyalusam Khadisha Menu Kimekad Munai Kinot Mecha Bonei Yerushalayim Adonai.
Next Kinot, Kinot 8. Adonai B'Tiyah B'Tzion U'Mispeit Yerushalayim. How long must there be weeping in Sion and eulogies in Yerushalayim? It's a Kinot that is eerily relevant and current tonight. It's a Kinot that describes how the entire world is simply against us. How on Tisha B'Av HaKadosh Baruch Hu positioned all of the 12 constellations, the 12 mazalos, groups of heavenly spheres and beings and stars in a way that would cause harm to Klal Yisrael. And the description of the Kinot really bespeaks the feeling of every Jew on Tisha B'Av, that no matter where we turn, we can't find any solace and we can't find any friend. Everyone is against us, even the cosmos, even the world of nature is against us. And the Kinot made me connect to the third word of Megillas Eicha, Eicha Yashva Badad. The Jew is Badad, Yashva Badad. The Jew is lonely, we're alone, isolated, deserted, abandoned, excommunicated. We have no one. How much in Tafshin Pei Daled do we live in a world where we have no one? We're alone in a world that is just so against us. A backwards world, an Olam Hapuk, upside down, a world that supports evil against good, a world that accuses self-defense of genocide, a world that justifies terror as an excuse for victimhood. We're badad in the media. We're badad in the political arena. We are badad on the campuses we once tried to befriend. We're badad wherever we turn with no sight and end. But I think most painful of all, we feel badad from you, Hashem. You've turned the constellations against us. We're looking for you. We can't find you. Where have you been this year? While our brothers and sisters are dying, trying to defend your land. Young men are driving home to their families, being stabbed on highways. Young women are being held hostage for months and months in the gates of hell. Hashem, where are you? We're badad, and you are our only answer. We don't have any answer. We have nowhere else to look. Everyone's against us. But in our heart of hearts, we know what you're going to tell us. We know your answer, Hashem. That we are an am livadad yishkon. We are a nation that's alone because that is the way that it is supposed to be. Because you chose us and you hold us to a higher standard. You separated us from everybody else, and it's on us to take the higher road. And we know what you want from us this Tisha B'Av. In a year when we feel so alone, so badad, we have nowhere to turn but to turn inside of ourselves. To look within and to honestly ask and confront the toughest question. Am I and are we doing what you want of us? How can I and how can we be better? We know that's what you'll tell us. So we can't search for comfort out there in the world. We're not going to find it. We're not going to find it there. There's only one place where we're going to find our answer, and that's within each and every one of us. And I encourage everyone, myself included, to contemplate, to think, what's one way that I can improve my bin adam lachavero, my relationships with others, with my spouse, with my parents, with my children, with my friends. What's one way that I can improve my bin adam lamakom, my relationship with you, Hashem? It's really that simple. We don't have friends out there. We have a lot of friends in here. So together, let's try to commit to looking inward this Tisha B'Av, asking ourselves that tough question: how can we be better? Bezes Hashem, Hashivinu Hashem Elecha v'nashuva chadi shaminu kikenu. Adana b'chiyot b'tzion v'svim shamayim v'chiyot
Allah yishmiya shorba
Kagatuvaya Neviacha Lachim Komar Adonai Shafti Lushalayim Brachamim Besi Banava Num Adonai Tzivos V'Kavli Natel Yerushalayim Nemar Od Karali Mar Komar Adonai Tzivos Od Tevutzena Arai Mito V'Nicham Adonai Od Es Tzion V'Achar Od Yerushalayim V'Nemar Ki Nicham Adonai Tzion Nicham Kol Charvoseha Vayasem Midbarak Eden Berbasaki Gan Adonai Sasova Zimcha Yimatzei Vatoda B'Kol Zimra V'Achar for those who didn't go to Israel.
Let me do one more Kinot. So I printed about 60 copies of this Kinot. I put some on the Bima and some in the back of the women's section. But I simply sent it out to the WhatsApp. That way people can also look on their phone. It's obviously a little bit smaller on your phone. But we're going to, we'll say this Kinot that Rav Rimon wrote for the current situation. Yeah, so there's a suggestion is to sing it to Eli, the tune of Eli Tzion. So we'll follow that suggestion.
Nazu al nashame maschatifos, oilach zar matzisirefos, rotzeach mashpil v'lile harpos, Eicha bimkom tzilas hayashem, Yerad dodi larugel chavosem, Shoshani nitvahim hilo Hashem, Tzimel titin yad v'shem, Eicha b'shna shivim v'shem, Shimros Hashem dam v'esh, Yudi v'machbo necharav elochesh, Nachas kodesh shabdas kodem, Eicha b'nitzion ha'yekarim, Aflu b'tei anasim arurim, Yerutei v'ki esrim lemaki, Achim akufim b'tei chamasim, Yom b'shvilim ha'es halel, Lochamim nefku eshumcha legadel, Abeit re'ei gam ha'Yisrael, Kaskinu v'amseinu v'tzion gohel, Zelachamu amitzot amitzrim ha'uvim, Hadinei nefesh mi'atzar meginim, Yivur asam ra'inu tshuvas olamim, Yitzchak v'maseinu tor geuvim, Vayom b'nechma nafasinu, Utra l'chrisun v'ras aminu, Nefam asurim v'rinu avinu, Malkeinu nikmas aminu, Nagadol yigrash meinu, Zocher u'maskir v'risanosenu, Tzafon midarom amdim chaloseinu, V'risam edes lanu b'artenu, Separas Yagutu Alivos, Advakim Vodul Imasefilos, Udim Ashuvin Yakalos, as we Sakarao, Norasilos, Kandre Ruach, Kandre Nishari, Raina Barayos Hayalim, Odim Yadim, Atirim, Yabrim, Amatim Hadas Nabirim, Leisin Ashuvatim Olam Shatvim Torim Amagishesh Lecha, Vatim Eshulchecha Noseidig Avecha, Yamayim Amendilu Lecha, Sheichatu Fim, Rajor Lashuvim, Zachariah Lavas Nitzavim, Sachakim Surim, Romeim Kadim, Na'el Adacha, V'Chesed Rachamim, Odim Ha'Mullah, Amadin Asinu, Agu Asinu, V'Chadis Nashinu, V'Chadikonu Yifenu, V'Yisrael Asinu, V'Chesed David, Yeshiach Tzidkenu. Yatakadosh Yesheti Los Israel, the Karas El Zebel, the Karas El Zebel.
What is so in Ruach Vashma Charai Kol Rash Kadosh Adonai Yimloch Yolam Boeh. The two Adonai Adi Adonai Tzurah Lamim because of the Chayvei Shemachik was after the Shachar Adonai Adonai Chavetz and Mazi Gaito Teravi Adi Yisrael Yisrael Shneava Yom Madi Brach Mitzvah Marcus Chayt Chon Yom Chayt Chon Beis Yisrael El Bagos Man Kavim Amen.